Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSi DFS. I am McKinley 412. I am one of the MLB coaches here at FSi. If you are new to us, welcome. If you are a returner, welcome back. We really do appreciate you guys checking out these videos. If you're not part of our Discord, please come join us. It's always fun in those chats in the Discord and on the website. If you do decide to sign up, we do offer cores, not just for MLB, but for all of the DFS sports. Our MLB sheets, if you're not familiar with them, do look like this. We provide a cash core, a GPP core. We do it for DK and on FanDuel for baseball. We don't do it for every single sport, but for baseball, we do both sites. We cover all of the showdowns. We'll give you 3 plays in the showdowns. We got a little spot for the notes. In case like weather is a concern or pitching is something that needs to be mentioned. Pitchers, we talk about our favorite, high price pitchers, mid price, our favorite cheap plays, guys that we don't want to target at all and fade them. And then batting stacks, our favorite top stacks of the slate, our favorite GPP stacks on the slate, the cheap guys, and some leverage plays as well. And tiers to add it all in. So we do cover a lot. So if you haven't joined us already, please, I encourage you to give us a chance. We have a day pass, we have week passes, monthly and yearly. So please come check us out. All the link and information will be down in the description below. Enough of me, enough of the commercial. Let's dive into this slate here. You can see I got Casey Mize over here. I'm not saying he's a core play or a great play. But DK right now has Matt Manning as the probable starter, but I don't think that's correct. I think it's going to be Casey Mize and not Matt Manning. So that's the only reason he's over there right now. 5-game slate. Only weather that we really have to be paying too much attention to is the weather at Wrigley. Once again, it's going to be in the 30s. I think 38 or 39 degrees is what I saw, with some double-digit mile-per-hour winds blowing in. So it's definitely a boost to the pitchers and kind of hurts the batters. 30-degree temperatures hurts the batters already. Add wind blowing into Wrigley, makes it even worse. So Brandon Woodruff, 9.7K. That is really high, especially this early on in the season when we don't have their arms really stretched out. They're not going to be going super deep into games. I don't think we saw anybody in opening day go over 90 pitches, maybe 95. I don't know. But pitchers they're not fully stretched out. So 9.7 is pretty high up there. But he's got great pitching environment, pitching weather. He's going up against the Cubs, who do strike out quite a bit. And Woodruff, the one thing, and I kind of mentioned it in the video yesterday because this game got postponed, was he had a really rough spring. He went 11 innings, but he allowed 14 earned runs. Opponents were hitting over 300 against him. So he really struggled in the spring. Is it going to translate into the regular season? We'll have to see. If you kind of remember Clayton Kershaw last season, he was awful in the spring. But once the regular season came around, he figured it out. So Brandon Woodruff, 97K. He's a little high up there, especially for this earlier on in the season, but a fine play if you want to go there in like GPP. Sonny Gray from Minnesota. Gray was lights out, we'll say, in the spring training. But one thing he's got going against him is that it was only 4 innings. He had 1 start, he went 4 innings, but he didn't allow a single hit. He didn't allow a single walk. And he has 6 strikeouts during that time. Last year, he had a 27% strikeout rate, so he definitely can get that upside with those strikeouts. And he seems to be doing pretty well, seems to be in good form. Going up against Seattle, I do like Seattle. I think they're going to be a playoff team this upcoming season. But still, I think Sonny Gray, he's going to be in a fine spot. The only thing you have to worry about is how deep is he going to go into that game, having only 4 innings under his belt. Dylan Cease going up against Detroit. Cease went 7 innings pitched in the spring, only allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run, and he had 8 strikeouts. And that's kind of what this guy's known for. Young up-and-comer guy still, but he had an over 30% strikeout rate last season. That magical 30% strikeout rate we want from pitchers, especially in DFS. So Cease, again, not a huge sample size. He only got 7 innings in the spring, But going up against Detroit, I know they added some pieces, but this is still a team that was striking out the most in the major leagues last season. So they do have a lot of strikeout guys in their lineup. And Dylan Cease is a very heavy strikeout pitcher. So I think Cease might be one of my favorite guys up in this price range if you do want to go up here for your lineups tomorrow. Gilbert for Seattle, he's got some sneaky K upside. He kind of struggled a little bit in the spring. He gave up 8 earned runs in only 10 innings, but he still struck out 14 guys. And last season, he had some pretty decent K upside as well in a handful of games. He's definitely got that ceiling potential, but he can also really struggle at times. So I think he's more of a GPP guy for me here, but he definitely has that upside with that K potential. Going up against Minnesota, they got some scary bats in their lineup with Buxton up top, and then they added in Carlos Correa and a handful of other guys that they have. But it is a little scary. But like I said, Gilbert, I think that the ceiling is there, but for cash, I'm probably going to be sticking clear from him. MIKOLAS for St. Louis. There he is, the guy who is pitching against Pittsburgh. We're probably going to be targeting that pitcher all the time, or playing that pitcher, I guess would be the right words. Pittsburgh is just going to be terrible. St. Louis won the first game of the season against them 9-0. And that's probably going to be how Pittsburgh's season is going to be going. He doesn't have a K upside like the other pitchers that I've been talking about, very limited in strikeout rate. But again, it is against Pittsburgh. He had a really strong spring. He went 13 innings pitched. I think he has the most warm-up innings. I guess he's been stretched out the most of any pitcher on this slate so far. So it is possible that he goes, pretty deep into the game here. And at 7.3K going up against Pittsburgh, I think that's a fine value right there for pitcher. Rasmussen for Tampa Bay. Just like what we talked about yesterday with McClanahan, the thing with Rasmussen, he isn't a great matchup going up against Baltimore. He's got some great pitching ability. However, he plays for Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay just does not like their starting pitchers to go deep into games or really see that third time in the lineup. Just look at McClanahan on Friday. I think he only pitched like 67 or 68 pitches, but he went 4 innings, struck out 7 guys, didn't allow a single earned run. So he was pitching great, and then they pulled him anyways, just because they don't want those pitch counts going super high up, and they don't want him seeing that third time around in the rotation. So 7K, I think, is just a solid price for Rasmussen. Keller, don't touch him. Please don't touch him unless you're building 150 lineups. Just don't touch him. STEELE, kind of interesting how he got his price up to 6.1K because yesterday when the game got postponed, it was only 5.2K. So oddly, he gained 900 in salary for the exact same matchup. Wind's blowing in Chicago. It's going to be super cold. So I guess he is viable, but I'm not super thrilled with him. He has some control issues. He had some control issues last season when he was pitching. Those control issues kind of crept up again in the spring. He was walking a lot of guys. So that is one thing that you do have to be paying attention to. But against left-handed hitters, he absolutely shuts them down. Left-handed hitters against STEELE last season batted under 100. I think it was like 0.92 or something like that. It was just crazy how much he shut them down. So I wouldn't target guys like Yelich by any means. So if you do target Milwaukee, it would be like the right-handed batters, but STEELE himself, not too interested. Jordan Lyles, not really too much there either, aside from just a deep GPP play. Casey Mize, kind of skipped over him for Detroit. Casey Mize, he is a solid pitcher. He's a up-and-coming kid here. Nice right-handed arm. He's going up against a right-handed heavy Chicago White Sox lineup. And he does really well at shutting down right-handed batters. Right-handed batters only hit .215 against him last season. So I think that he'll be able to kind of keep this White Sox team in check, a White Sox team that still does not have Tim Anderson due to suspension. So they are, battling a couple of things. And I think, is Moncada out still? Yeah, he's on the IL. He is still out. So they are still missing two kind of main guys in their lineup. So Casey Mize, decent play, 7-8. I wish he was a little bit cheaper, but a 7-8, not terrible at all. So that kind of covers the pitching on this slate. Cease, high upside, K rate, and then MIKOLAS. I feel like those are probably my two favorite guys. Those are probably the two quote unquote safest guys on this slate. WOODRUFF, obviously he has the stuff, but at that price tag, I don't know. It's DK really priced up the bats this season earlier on than they did last season. So getting 9.7 for a guy who might only go a handful of innings is kind of tough to swallow. But yeah, so let's go through the slate here. Once again, we'll go backwards. We did it yesterday. Let's just do it again. Milwaukee, Chicago. I don't have any interest in the Chicago bats going up against Brandon Woodruff here. And then after Woodruff is one of the best bullpens in the league with Milwaukee. So no interest in the Chicago bats. Milwaukee bats, I kind of mentioned how I do not want to touch the left-handed bats at all against STEELE. So I would be targeting the righties. They did get Hunter Renfroe. So, I mean, you could go there. They're pretty pricey, though. 5K for Renfroe. Adama is also 5K. McCutchen 4.8. They're pricey. And you can kind of see how, like, if you want to go Milwaukee and you add in Woodruff, that 9.7 plus a couple of 5K guys, it's going to get really tight salary-wise real quick. Pittsburgh, I have really kind of no interest in Pittsburgh other than maybe the lefties. Vogelbach, 2.2K. Maybe he's just like a one-off, like super punt value that you need. However, it's at first base. I don't really like to punt at first base. I like to spend up there just because there are so many top bats that I don't want to miss out on. I'd rather punt at catcher than at first base. So kind of limited there. Sissoko, he's kind of their other left-handed bat that could be going up against MIKOLAS tomorrow. On the other side of that game, love St. Louis. St. Louis, like I said, they put up a 9 against this Pittsburgh team. Now they're going up against Keller. They're going up against another the same bad bullpen as they did the other day. Keller's allowed over 300 batting average to right-handed bats last season. And what is St. Louis? They're all right-handed bats. Carlson is a switch hitter, but still, I mean, they're pretty much all right-handed bats. Goldschmidt, he was tearing it up in spring. He hit, I think, 500 in spring training and like 26 at-bats. He also drew 4 walks on opening day, but still, Goldschmidt, he is hitting lights out. Arenado did well. Edman at 5.5K, batting at the 9 spot on opening day. I can't pay that much for him. I know he did well, but I can't do that. DeYoung at 4.4. I do not mind him at all. Goldschmidt at 5.5K. Let's kind of put some guys over here that I'm talking about as we go. But you really can't go too wrong with St. Louis. Pujols, I think he went over 5 on opening day. 3.4K. Yeah, he's not going to beat out a grounder or anything at his age. But still, 3.4K. Who knows? Go crazy. Build a bunch of lineups and put them in some GPP. Seattle, Minnesota game. We'll start with the Minnesota side going up against Gilbert. Like I said, Gilbert, he's got some sneaky K upside, but Minnesota, they also have some pretty strong bats. Buxton, Correa, Polanco, Sano, Kepler. Really, the only guy I kind of would be targeting here would be Arias from Minnesota. 3.2K. I think I just like him a lot just because of his price tag. Yeah, I don't really have much to add on that. I just think his price tag's nice. Like Buxton at 5.9, Correa at 5.3, Polanco at 5.2. It's just tough to jam those guys in, especially if you want to load up on some of those bigger St. Louis bats. Like I would take St. Louis over Minnesota 10 out of 10 times on this slate. And you can kind of see, like, once we pull these guys up, they're pretty similar in pricing. Buxton is the most expensive. Correa and Polanco, they kind of are right behind O'Neill, but even more expensive than Carlson. Like I would take St. Louis over Minnesota hands down. So that's kind of why I would be paying down to a guy like Arias for Minnesota at 3.2K. Seattle on the other side going up against Gray. Who knows what's going to happen with Gray? I don't know how deep he's going to go into the game. He only had 4 innings during spring training, but they were dominant 4 innings. So it is kind of a question mark to see what's going to be going on with Seattle. But I like the Seattle offense. I like a lot of the additions that they made. Excuse me, adding in Jesse Winker, adding in Eugenio Suarez. So I think Seattle's going to be a fun offense to track this season. But as far as the game on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, I don't know. We'll see. Chicago and Detroit. Chicago is just so expensive. You know, Luis Robert at 6,000, Abreu at 5.2. I'd rather just go to Goldschmidt at 5.5. Like I said, I don't think they're going up against Manning. I think they're going to be going up against Casey Mize. If they were going up against Manning, I would be all over the Chicago White Sox. Manning is a reverse split pitcher. He can't stop right-handed bats at all. But I don't think it's going to be Manning. I think it's going to be Mize. And that makes me kind of off of the Chicago White Sox outside of the GPP play. Detroit, very similar. A lot of the same issues, and that they're just priced up really high, going up against a great pitcher in Cease and all of his strikeout upside. So I'm not going to be paying, 5.5 for Candelario. Meadows 5.1, get a nice lefty righty there, possibly, but I'm not too excited there. Really, it's just kind of like lock and load St. Louis. And then I would be kind of targeting Tampa Bay here as well, and then kind of filling in the rest with some guys that some mini stacks that you like throughout. But as far as Tampa Bay goes, going up against Lyles, they're lefties, guys you want to be targeting. It's gonna be Brandon Lowe at 5.4, Wander Franco 5.4. Margot, it was kind of a bummer that he was batting in the 8th spot. Harold Ramirez, he got plugged into that 3 spot on opening day. So if he goes there again, that could be a nice value. Kiermaier at 3.2, a nice lefty. He's got some pop in his bat from time to time. So maybe he's a guy that you want to look for the long ball with. And then Baltimore, I'm not interested in the Baltimore bats. They're going up against Rasmussen, who I think can shut them down. And then after he leaves, you got, I would say, the other best bullpen in baseball outside of Milwaukee. It's like Milwaukee and Tampa Bay are like the 2 best bullpens in baseball. So I don't have any interest in those Baltimore bats. So you can kind of see, this is not a core. These are not the core plays, but it's just kind of me inputting guys as I'm talking, going throughout this slate. Let's see. I said Cease and MIKOLAS were my 2 favorite kind of like safe plays. Boom, 4.3K remaining. You can easily make a pretty decent lineup right off of those guys. But like I said, St. Louis, you're going to really want a lot of St. Louis bats. I think they're going to be the highest run scoring team on this slate. Vegas thinks so as well. I'm not making any hot take here. St. Louis is definitely the team that you want to target. I wouldn't target too much in this Chicago White Sox Detroit game. Just terrible hitting weather in this Milwaukee Chicago game. I would go Tampa Bay, and then Seattle, Minnesota. I'm so torn. The pitchers could be dominant, but I could also see these offenses coming to life and taking over the pitchers. So I think that's one of the most intriguing games on this slate in terms of, a make or break. Which way do you think it's going to go? And if you're on the right side, you're probably going to be cashing this slate. So that kind of wraps things up. So again, thanks always for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And please go check out that other video. We do have another video coming out for the evening slate. Mega Roar is going to be covering that one. So thanks again for watching. And as always, good luck in your contest, and we will see you in the next video.